Yeah.
Thursday morning, and we're getting into the thick of things. Our guests, at least one of them, is here, and the other one will be joining us shortly. Dr. Paul Gwebe-Boakye-Dankwa, he is government spokesperson on governance and security. He's here in the studio with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Benjamin.
Right.
How are you?
I am very well. At least one thing I can give you is that most of the time you are punctual, unlike some of the people from the other side.
All of the time. All of the time.
I don't know about all of the time.
That's very true.
It's not just the news review I'm referring to, but most of the time.
No, but I've been doing this with you for a very long time. All of the time.
You are punctual.
All of the time. Very well trained.
Hey.
All right. So thanks for being in the studio with us.
I mean, I must really thank you guys for the great opportunity. This morning when I came in, I was having a conversation with some of the people, and I was like, it's the consistency and how the media houses allow various political parties and governments to enhance government communication and how government is able to share what government is doing through your platform. So we must also commend you for the great opportunities that you give to us on a daily basis.
No, thank you, Paul Gwebe. Let's add a minute more to your submission and hear what you have to share with us this morning.
You know, Benjamin and Abochi, yesterday I was thinking, and you are quite aware that it's left about 79 days to the election. Yep. And I was thinking that we also have about 76 years to the end of the century. And I began asking myself, in the next 76 years, I'm not too sure if I'll still be around, but I'm certain that my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren will be around when they start recording the 2100 year. If Jesus tarries. And I'm asking, what world would we leave for them? Would it be a world where they would be able to understand each other? Would it be a world where Ghana would have developed beyond where we expect? Would it be a world where development would have grown? Would it be a world where there would be greater understanding? And those thoughts captured my memory whilst I took the very late hours of the night. And this morning I'm reminded that we are here for a purpose. We are here to be able to make the relevant impact that we have to make, and generations will judge us for whatever decisions that we make today.
Okay.
What I will add to that is maybe as you forecast, you look at the century, we should look at Ghana's century. I always point to the NDPC's Ghana at 100 document, which is 2057. That is what... So 26, 24, that will be 50, 26 plus 7, that will give you 33. Just about 33 years away. Maybe we should forecast that as well. Where will Ghana be? And it's interesting when we say that, I don't know whether it's nominal GDP, will be around $3 trillion around that time. You've just got me reminiscing.
Absolutely.
And bringing to mind some of what that document says and the feasibility, looking at where we are and where we hope to be. But anyway. Well,
I think that as you reflect on that as well, I mean, over the next few years, Ghana at 100, I'm very certain that all of us will be here, but it bewills on greater political parties to ensure that we all align our policies and our manifestos and our promises that we are making to the great consolidated NDPC plan that has been put in place so that we can be sure of our progressional growth incrementally.
And December 7th would be a very significant one in the history of the country. So we're looking forward to it. And on that note, let's get into the newspapers. I'll start with the Daily Guide newspaper. On the front page, our roads record unparalleled, according to Francis Asenso-Boakye. On the 2024 elections, Bawumia pushes for ideas, not insults. Minister opens 16 public employment centers. That's the photo of Ignatius Bafwewa over there, unveiling a plaque to commission the center. And on health infrastructure investments remarkable, according to Dr. Okuboy Bernard. Let me start from what Francis Asenso-Boakye is saying about our roads record being unparalleled. And the Minister of Roads and Highways, Francis Asenso-Boakye, has said the record of the Akufo-Addo and Bawumia administration in road infrastructure development is unparalleled. And his comments comes after former President John Dramani Mahama questioned the 12,830 kilometers of roads constructed under the current government. Quote, the point must be made emphatically that between 2017 and the end of 2023, the Akufo-Addo and Bawumia administration have constructed an impressive 12,830 kilometers of roads compared to the 4,636 kilometers that was recorded under the Mahama administration. And the minister said it's an enviable position within Africa's road network, adding that data from the World Bank indicates that Ghana's road density, measured as kilometers of road per 100 square kilometers of land, exceeds the regional average. Dr. Paul Dankwa, the roads we see in our communities, is it just about constructing them or using quality materials so that they're sustainable?
You know, sweetie, I am very certain that roads are important because roads bring a lot more development and a lot more growth. And the level of investment that our government has made in the roads, as captured in our manifesto, because our manifesto is a recap of what President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done and the foundations upon which we believe that the Ghanaian people should give us an opportunity. And some of the things that I state in here is clearly that, furthermore, there has been an investment of close to about 16 billion Ghana cedis in road network expansion and improvement.
No, we're not saying you've not constructed these roads.
Yes, and I mean,
they
so
keep deteriorating, and then every year we have to pump more money.
You are very much aware.
Them up.
Yes, you are very much aware that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has made the biggest investment in the road network with the coming of the DRIP. So the DRIP has come to ensure that the local assemblies, the rural communities, the municipalities now have their own machines to be able to patch the roads. In recent times, I drive through the Achimota Road each time I'm coming to your network, and I've seen that there's been a lot more patches that has been done around the Achimota overhead. That patch has been done. Even when you get to Neoplan, that patch has been done. A number of patches that you would see ordinarily is causing traffic. You see that there's a lot more improvement in that. And it's clear to be able to state that, yes, government has used the resources, the taxpayers' money to construct these 12,000 kilometers of roads. And the oversight, I mean, really, for me, is that when you look at the roads that have been done, government has been very clear with its maintenance plan. And all of this is here, which is why I stated that the district road improvement program.
Almost every week, Dr. Paul Dankwa, we hear reports of bad roads causing that Bawumia stretch. Let's not even get started there. Tema motorway, patches here and there. The question I'm asking is, why can't we invest in quality materials for this construction of roads that you're touting as unparalleled, so that we don't come back here every year to do these patches that you yourself have just said? It's causing great
you know, City, we are not going to come back the next year to do patches anymore.
We are not.
We are solving the issue.
So all the roads
the DRIP initiative that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has brought is solving this challenge. We've brought over thousands of machines that has been scattered across the length and breadth of this country. It's gone to the regions, it's gone to the constituencies, it's gone to the municipalities, and the government has launched that. These machines, the low bed, the concrete mixers, and all of those machines that we have brought is a clear indication that government is very committed to ensuring that everybody has a motorable road that they can use in the rural and urban communities.
Okay.
And it's clear for the minister to be able to bring the context to that.
Hold for Ben, and then we do some other stories.
I just have a quick follow-up. Of these 12,830 kilometers constructed at different points within this administration's term, let's not go far. Where do you, I mean, you can answer the question if you feel secure enough. Where do you live in Accra?
Oh, I live in Ayawaso West constituency.
That's a good answer, because I actually didn't want you to be specific. What is the road network like? I believe you felt some of this impact within your constituency. Those roads that have been, I don't know, because there's resurfacing, sometimes there's bitumen or asphalt work being done, leveling and all of that. What is the state of some of those roads your government has worked on within your constituency? What is the state of them?
Oh, I can bring a regional distribution network. Let me just refer to my document.
No, I'm not asking for. I don't want you to look at data and tell me. I want the practical bit about when you go round your constituency, because I can tell you for my constituency.
It's important.
So I ask you, when you go round your constituency, what do you see?
My constituency is very big, okay? And I may not have the opportunity to drive every single part of the constituency. The road that I drive on on a regular basis are very good roads. Yes, the roads that I drive on on a regular basis are very good roads. And it's important that I state that. But you see, when I say I'm going to the data, you should allow me to go to the data, because the data is a strong representation of what the government has been able to do in the various regions. And the regional balances are very clear. And if you don't mind, I can even do Greater Accra, because I think that is where we are. And I'll just do Greater Accra, just for you to be able to have an appreciation of the road networks and the road infrastructures that we have done. On the Ministry of Roads and Highway brought a data, of completed roads and projects from January 2017 to December 2022. And Greater Accra, on pages 88, we will clearly see that data. And I'll just be minded to be able to just share with the Ghanaian people and with your viewers as well.
Okay, Dr.
Of roads
and we'll try to wrap up very quickly on the roads.
Absolutely.
I just want to
absolutely.
And what I was pointing to was the fact that Sweetie Abochi was making. It's not just about, there are roads we've been constructing since 1992. Practically every term. It's kind of like what Dr. Arthur Kennedy was saying yesterday about our electoral roll. The Americans don't engage in the rigmarole we engage in. So every 4 years or more, we have a new electoral register. We are pumping millions of dollars into it because Charlie Sombro for chop. And I said it. Some people may not like it, but I just said it. And so BDD. What they've not sown, they want to reap. So if you look at it, historically, the average, and I'm looking at 2008 to 2019, and I'm talking about the quality of our roads, right? You know that the N1 stretch is one of our best roads. The Tema motorway, well, used to be, but we've decided to patch concrete with asphalt and all kinds of things. So now you'll be driving and all you'll be hearing is boom, 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 because it's not level. The average for Ghana in terms of quality of roads has been 3.51 points. And 1 is low, 7 is high. The minimum value, 3 points, was reached in 2019. Minimum. While the maximum of 4.06 points was recorded in 2013. So even as we talk about these things, we must look at the quality of the roads we're putting out there. But I'm curious, apart from these statistics, which actually show when we've actually been giving the Ghanaians the best roads, you campaigned. You wanted to be member of parliament, right? You campaigned in your constituency, right?
Ibuakwa North constituency.
Ibuakwa North. Good. You went round Ibuakwa North. I'm sure there are some roads that the MPP has put up. Tell us about when you were campaigning in Ibuakwa North and how the roads are there.
You know, Benjamin, before I come to Ibuakwa North constituency, we started with Greater Accra. So let me
Yes, you can
briefly
go to that so Sweetie can wrap with the rest
Greater
of
Accra, the length of roads that we have done is 1,667.30 kilometer of road. Alfat overlay is 971 kilometer of roads. Bridge is 3. Construction is 2. Graveling, regraveling is about 524.93. Interchanges is 3. Partial reconstruction is about 13.70. Reconstruction is about 11.10 kilometer. Rehabilitation of roads is about 57.51 kilometer. Resealing is about 50 kilometer. And then upgrading and surfacing is about 86. No, it's important that I bring.
But you are not actually answering any of the questions.
No, I mean,
this does not.
I'm giving but then I'm giving you the works that has been done in Greater Accra.
All right.
Okay, and I have more and more in terms of graveling, asphalt overlay, interchanges that we have done, and the partial reconstruction that we have done. And the data is here and the data is clear. But he asked me a very clear question about my constituency, and I'll just respond to that. I mean, the Ibuakwa North constituency is a very beautiful constituency. We have very good roads. One of our major roads that was a challenge is the New Tafu Road. And I recall that work has already begun. I mean, the work began sometime last year with a contractor. So now, when you go to the New Tafu Road, the New Tafu Zongo Road, that is the Opaz Junction that leads to Kokointume Junction, you will see that the contractor is working on it very well. And so New Tafu and Old Tafu is one of the oldest communities in my constituency, and the road network is being worked on as I speak to you today. And so that's the evidence that I can give to that in terms of the road network in my constituency.
Okay.
So Sweetie, just let me do this for the sake of Ibuakwa North. And if you just cursory look, go online. Gifty Chum, Ampofo, inspecting some roads, and the residents were complaining bitterly about access roads which hinder commuters from going out and engaging in their daily activities. This is 29th January 2024. Then you look at October 2023 in the Ebuakwa North constituency of the Eastern region, and that is the hometown of the incumbent, well, not incumbent now, but...
She's the incumbent. She's the incumbent MP.
No, you're not getting what I'm talking about. The president, I mean. Some residents expressed dissatisfaction with the dire condition of local roads, asserting that the president had failed to fulfill his promises to enhance the infrastructure in their area. And the group then, identifying itself as the concerned citizens of Ebuakwa North, took to the streets of New Tafo and Enyinem on Thursday, October 12, 2013. It goes on and on.
Enyinem is not in my constituency, unless they're talking about Enyinesin. You understand? Yes, but
New Tafo.
Yes, that's New Tafo Enyinesin. That's why I told you that from March of this year, these roads have resumed construction.
Right.
Okay, yes. So I mean, these are data that I
mean, there's January 2024,
that's what
and
I'm
then
saying.
there's October 2023.
January 2024
Pretty recent.
was when,
we can
yes,
work
but January
with them.
2024 was when we're doing our primaries, internal primaries. So you can understand that these issues will come up because the incumbent also stood in the primaries. That's what I'm saying, that from March of this year, the road has begun. You know, if you even get to, on my constituency, you get to Enyinesin, you can use the Enyinesin road all the way through to Otafo to get into the constituency. So the roads are being constructed.
You started by saying posterity will tell how we're faring in all that.
Absolutely.
These roads that you're touting as remarkable and unparalleled, in the next half a decade or a decade, we will see the states in which they would...
No, we need to have a culture of...
Don't worry, posterity...
For Ghana's roads must be maintained.
Give them maximum 1.5.
No, roads must be maintained. No, you can't say that.
It's okay. We will be here to see how that fares.
There are some roads that have been...
Dr. Paul Gregwachidankwa, for you,
look at the Liberation Road.
Everything you see in terms of the roads in Ayawaso West Wuogon and in Ebuakwa North are fine. But there are people, obviously, pointing out that roads in the region have deteriorated over the years, and they even say that neither past administrations nor the current administration have done enough, especially when your president is an indigent. So, you know.
Let's do some other
Or your
stories,
leader,
gentlemen.
the leader of your party is an indigent.
Well,
so FGR Bogoso mining leases terminated.
That's why I went back and said
our president.
Gentlemen, other stories. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, has terminated the mining leases granted to FGR Bogoso Prestia Limited and directed the Minerals Commission to issue a notice of termination to the company in accordance with the Regulation 2004 of LI 2176. And this follows the advice and recommendation of the Minerals Commission and the Attorney General, pursuant to Article 88 of the Constitution, Section 5, Clause 1, and so on and so forth. It would be recalled that some residents in the area recently protested and called for the termination of the leases. So, yes, Samuel Abujinapo has ordered that FGR Bogoso Prestia mining leases be terminated. I want to add another story on the same subject matter, and then we can discuss. It says the galamsey menace, who must be told of. What I found interesting about this story is that it appears, when you first read the first paragraph or so, it appears they're giving us a detailed recount of how we've been dealing with this galamsey menace over the years. But then you go into it and you realize that they're not really telling us anything, but touting President... Let me get into the story. So galamsey is a... Let me skip all that. We know what galamsey is. The spring of galamsey activities has debilitated and topified this generation and shall do same to the following age. Our forests, which serve as a garrison for environmental protection, have been wounded. Our lands to accommodate our shelters have been clobbered. Our water bodies to serve us with hygienic water for consumption have been adulterated. That's where I thought the story was getting interesting. And then you get here and it says, whilst Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP leaders are devising methods to grapple with galamsey operations, John Mahama is gallivanting around delusionally, pledging to reignite the efficacy of it through granting amnesty to the galamseyers who have been detained and rehabilitating galamsey areas confiscated by this government. And it goes on and on to talk about how death toll during Mahama's era. I think it is time we move past the politics of this phenomenon because, again, it is the very cancer eating at the fiber of this nation. So if you're asking in this editorial that who must be told of, then provide facts or proper solution on how we can fight this menace and not compare who did more harm than who in whose administration. It's got to the point where I think most Ghanaians are adding their voices to this call, like completely ban this activity so we can reassess. It's no longer about under whose tenure did we experience more death tolls or under who. I mean, we should move past the politics of this galamsey fight and tackle it head on. What the people are asking versus what the government is doing, it doesn't marry, it doesn't tally. We're asking for a ban, Dr. Paul Bachidako, you speak for the government. We're asking for a ban on small-scale mining so we can do a reassessment. And the government is, terminating leases of some companies. We saw that excavators were bent at some point. But is that really the solution we need to this menace?
You know, a broader stakeholder engagement is key. And I've stated this very clearly, that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I have found in this Fourth Republic, has been the president that has made galamsey a topical conversation. 4 months into President's tenure from 2017 in April, when Peter John Amewu was the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the President launched the fight against illegal mining, set up a committee, reclaimed some excavators, about 400 in number. The committee brought out a report. The President began stakeholder engagement very clearly. The second term of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, with the leadership of the Honorable Samuel A. Jinapor, the President again met with stakeholders, met with the chiefs, mentioned very clearly that there was no way licenses were going to be given from Greater Accra without the notice.
Dr. Paul Bachidako, you seem to have a penchant. I'm sorry, hold for me. You seem to have a penchant for taking us down memory lane and saying things that, I'm sorry, don't really have an impact on the questions that are posed. Here is it. If I were you, as a communicator, I would avoid the whole bit about the president putting his presidency on the line, okay? You talk about 2017 and everything that has happened. He met the chiefs. Well, when was it? How many years ago? Was it about 2022? Thereabouts. Met the chiefs. All these things you talk about, what have they culminated in? Your party, your administration has given licenses for the first time for people to mine in forest reserves. The turbidity levels are higher than we've ever seen, NTUs. The ravages of galamsey are there for everybody to see. How many times now has the Ghana Water Company Limited come out to talk about galamsey? So we don't need the rhetoric. We need the action. I always say, if I come and sit here and as host of this show, co-host of this show, I do not deliver, what do you think will happen to me over time? Exactly. And the president put his presidency on the line.
So what are you proposing?
And he chastised other people in
so
the past that if he were they, he would have resigned.
How are you concluding on this matter?
My conclusion is everything that you are saying has nothing to do with the conversation.
That the president should resign?
What has the president done in reality that has impacted? It's not about, I have put in this effort. No, it's about what the results are.
But you see, the broader scale...
And you mentioned the lands minister. People are saying he's failed so much that he should...
You cannot say the lands minister has failed. You see, the broader scale of mining is beyond the illegality that is being done. You see, you need to look at...
And it's because your party people are highly embedded in it, and you know it.
You need to look very clearly into the level of investment that our government has made into mining.
I see.
Community mining. We have given 20 communities the opportunity to do community mining as we speak today. When we came, it was only 10. We've added 20 more. We have built more minerals commission offices in a lot more regions today as we speak. We have sought to bring in the alternative livelihood program. You cannot.
How has that impacted galamsey? All of this
clearly. No, you cannot clearly state. That's why I said that the mining scheme is bigger.
Galamsey?
No, that's why I'm saying the mining scheme is bigger. So if you look, if you just center on the fact that people are mining along river bodies, and our government has sought to tell people to move away from the mining along river bodies. Our government has sought to do that.
Including your Ashanti regional chairman, who is still, has been doing work on, where, that river.
I don't know.
But you're telling me, do you know what you're saying?
Just this morning, we got that report.
You're saying that because mining activity has increased, so the effects of illegal mining should also increase.
That's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying.
So clarify.
That's not what I'm saying. You see, the real goal is that people should be able to move away from water bodies. And our government has been clear about that. That you should not mine along water bodies. Move away from water bodies. Right. The government has also set up a committee now, as we speak, so that they can be able to look into the acts of illegal mining. That report came out last week.
Okay.
And the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources has been meeting with the regional ministers and RESEC and telling them that you should ensure that people move away from mining from water bodies.
All right,
It's important
let me bring
these
into the
issues.
conversation Bismarck Abobi Ayite. He's with the NDC in the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You know, there's a story of, do you remember Krobo Edusei?
Yes, I remember.
Under the Nkrumah administration. And he was late for, you know, an event, and then he came and said, oh, I am the late Krobo Edusei. This is your first time on our show, right?
This is the first time on my show. And I apologize.
You apologize. You see where I'm going, eh?
Yes, I apologize because your producer called me and admitted to come. It was a short notice.
Right.
And as usual, I need to drop that case. Okay. So I have to rush them to school and rush here. So viewers, please forgive me for coming late. Next time, I will be on time.
Your colleague on the other side is very punctual, so next time.
Yeah, next time, I will be first here.
Sweetie Abochi.
Well, Mr. Bobby, I like that. Your name is interesting. It makes me want to salivate for some Bobby Daddy. The story here is that, in fact, the entire country now is in an uproar because we want this galamsey menace to end. Ghana Medical Association, CSOs, individuals have said ban small-scale mining so that we can take a break, do a reassessment of how we can move forward, especially mining in and around water bodies and forest reserves. As we speak, the government is aware that this is what the people are asking for. But we've seen that military personnel have been deployed to go into some areas. We saw videos of 3 or 4 excavators being burned. And this morning, the story we just read is that the Minister for Land and Natural Mineral Resources has asked that FGR Bogoso Prestia Mining Limited licenses be terminated. And the question I asked was, is that really what we're asking for? And is that what we need to fight and end the damage that galamsey is causing on our water bodies, which is now affecting drinking water, water flowing through our taps? What's your take on the matter?
Thank you. And it's very simple. This problem we are having requires leadership to say, let's apply the brake, let's put better measures in place. I will not condone anybody who mine in the restricted areas. And unfortunate thing is that when this government came, instead of protecting our forests and our water bodies, they rather implemented a law that permits individuals to take concession in our forest areas. You all admit that all the water bodies that we have, they have their root from the forest. So if you allow people to mine in the forest, then you are aggravating the challenge, the problem that we are all facing. I, for one, will stand for anybody that will call for total ban of galamsey and small-scale mining entirely, so that we look at the way forward as a country, so that all these stakeholders who are calling for the banning of this mining, small-scale mining, we all come together as stakeholders to devise proper way, including the media, how the small scale should be handled so that we have peace. As experts are saying, and I've read some, that in the near future, 3 to 5 years, if we are not careful as a country, we are going to import water.
Yep.
I, Bismarck, and my family can never have that privilege of importing water to drink. So I will support any call for total ban. What His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is saying is that, simple, the law that permits mining in forest areas, when he comes, that law has to be removed.
Right.
So that restricted areas will be protected. If you say no mining in water bodies, but the water is coming from the forest, and the same forest you are mining from, where would the wastewater go? It will come from the top, and all other water bodies that permeate our communities will be affected. So MPP is the challenge. Nanado is the challenge. If Nanado want to do any good to Ghanaians, let us stop the small-scale mining. They have invested in it, community mining. What is community mining? Where are the communities? They are around our forests and our water bodies. These are where the communities are. So if you open up for people to mine in those areas, then you are aggravating our problem.
Right.
And we must stop. I will support any call, including the media. You are all happy. And I will support. If NDC comes to power, and this challenge will still continue, some of us will become bad boys.
Land on that point. And Ben, you know
so
what's
that
interesting?
We have our peace.
Just yesterday, I was speaking to Erastus Asare-Donko on the Midday News, and he confirmed that some Chinese miners continue to contaminate the Tana River. And after 2 years of reporting that Akonta mining is causing, washing the tail ends of these mining activities into the Tana River, as at yesterday, he can still confirm that people are there actively mining 2 years on.
You know what's interesting? Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, through his ambassador in Ghana, stated categorically that if there are Chinese stay away from illegal mining, and if you are caught, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Ghana, deal with them.
Yeah.
So if we don't deal with the Chinese, we can only blame ourselves. And those, like Paul Grave Wachidankwa says, who are actively working, and yet there's nothing to show. It's like that math exam, oh, I did so well, all your answers were wrong. All your answers were wrong, but you felt you had. And we've all been there before. But I have an interesting question for you, Mr. Aiti.
You guys would never comment.
Did the former president, John Dramani Mahama, say,
I'll ask you,
clarify for me, that if he came, he would release some of these, illegal miners who had been incarcerated? Did he ever say that?
It requires...
And if you have a better understanding, explain for some of us. What did he say?
What John Dramani Mahama seeks to achieve is that...
No, just clarify for me. Did he say that?
On condition.
The
condition
Did he say that?
No. He says so.
Okay.
There are people, you and I, ordinary small boys, after school, they are going to do something. Somebody engages them to do galamsey. Who are the real kingpin when it comes to galamsey? Those that we get them, arrest them at the site. The owner may be in Accra. So through those arrests, we should be able to identify the real owner if you happen to be one. And because you have money and you have, engaged those boys, paying them 100 cedis a day, those boys are in jail. By the real kingpin, those who have invested in destroying our water body, they are in Accra importing water.
So the solution is not rather to find, these people are in jail, but who is, like you said, the kingpin or the queenpin, so that you can add them in jail. The solution is rather to release those who were on site.
Yes,
to let go of them. That's the solution.
That ignorant guys who just want to get their daily bread, they are in jail. But the investor is sitting. Those boys should come out. Let us trace the owners of those mines, the Akonta mine, the Sampines, and the Chamawutumi and Co. They are to be in jail because they are the challenge.
Because
not that
I'll leave it to the judgment of Ghanaians.
Yes.
But I think from all angles, both of you especially, because you have had the opportunity of being at the helm of affairs, I don't think either the NDC or the MPP have a clear trajectory to ending galamsey, and I don't think you have the will. That's my
The
opinion.
well is there.
All right.
The well is there. When you go to Roman Ridge, you see we have a prison there. Some of the young guys, when you speak to them, some of them, they don't even have parents. They don't know where their parents are. They were engaged because of their daily bread. They are there because they were caught on site. Where are the owners? Where are the middlemen? Who are the sponsors of those galamsey on our water bodies?
You say Roman Ridge. Are you referring to the Senior Correctional Center? Or the St. James Camp Prison?
St. James.
St. James Camp Prison. Okay.
Benjamin, let's get into your... I think that for 32 years, NDC and PP just don't take us seriously. You don't take us...
Well, it's a ping-pong game.
They don't take us
Maybe one may be worse than the other here and there.
For once,
honestly,
we should not be having a conversation about galamsey at this point
to deal with this
in a development trajectory of this country. We shouldn't. But
it's unfortunate, but
Benjamin.
somebody must take the boat.
Paul Grave, have you looked at your paper?
Yes.
Have you gone into your paper?
Yes, I haven't yet.
You haven't yet?
No.
So because of time, we have to knock off by 7:20. If you can manage the next... I always want the guests to go first. So
it's fine.
Take about 2-3 minutes.
Okay. So the new Republic, page 12, Digital Media Africa Conference 2024 kicks off in Nairobi with calls for media innovation and sustainability. I think this story caught my attention, and so I'd just like to read the first paragraph. In a passionate call to action, Churchill Otieno, president of president of the Africa Editors Forum, TAF, delivered a stirring keynote speech at the opening of the Digital Media Africa Conference 2024 in Nairobi. The conference, co-hosted by 1IFRA, the Agwan University, the Eastern African Editors Association, and their partners, brought together esteemed colleagues and distinguished guests to address the pressing challenge faced by the media professionals in today's rapidly evolving landscape. And then also, UK government reiterates commitment to collaborate with Africa, announces £1.9 million innovation funding for Ghana and Nigeria. And the United Kingdom government has unveiled a £1.9 million funding initiative as key component of the West African Research and Innovation Hub project in Africa. And I see a story here. When you are from France, Andrew Ayew is a big fan, and this is by Elisha Owusu. And the front page talks about EC, IT agents, MPP connections, unraveling court, election cyber security trials. Okay. I also see safeguarding a democratic process, the importance of electoral systems by Alan Bessa. So, yeah.
All right. Let's quickly add your stories and see whether we'd like to filter through any of them. Would you like to give us anything? This is my paper, by the way.
But
so you can look at the Supreme
I can use
newspaper.
your paper. I have a story I'm interested in about the growth of this country.
That's the story right there,
yes,
page 60.
Page 60 of the Daily Graphic. And it is amazing. I've read it, and I don't understand the head and tail.
You can read a bit for us.
The first paragraph says the economy posted a 6.9% growth in the second quarter of the year. Okay, this real gross domestic product growth rate is higher than the 2.5% recorded for the same period in 2023.
Do you dispute that?
Yes.
You dispute the figures?
I dispute it because it's not reflecting in the well-being of Ghanaians. Every growth of an economy, we must see growth in employment. The economy must be strengthened. Our CD is still struggling. People cannot make ends meet. I've read a report by the same statistical service who tells us that 8 million Ghanaians go a day without food. And if that is right, then what this growth seeks to achieve is our pockets that will reflect.
But you know, that's how we have the macroeconomy and the microeconomy. And sometimes it is the management or the nexus between the two that is where the problem is. You would read in here, for example, they talk about oil GDP, non-oil GDP, and all of that. The fact that an economy supposedly grows in a certain manner does not necessarily mean it will reflect in the pockets of everybody. I get the point you're making. Yeah. An economy's growth must reflect in the well-being of the people. It does not necessarily mean that these statistics are cooked, but the reality is that it's not trickling down. Inflation is still, while I sometimes these statistics, and Professor Enim is a good friend of mine, but sometimes the statistics, we are still hovering around 20%. But believe you me, when I go out there and I'm making any purchases, I don't feel 20%, I feel more. But you also cannot say that this is not reflective of the state of affairs. Else they wouldn't put.
If you have a debt stock of about 800 billion, and you just oppose it with the growth that we are talking about,
right?
It doesn't work.
Okay. Let's quickly get into the Supreme. If you want to do maybe one or two stories very quickly, and then I'll come in briefly and we'll wrap with this.
Actually, I don't have any interest in these stories. My brother has spoken about digital education and.
Okay, then let me get into this. Just let me see the front page again. I believe there's okay. So AI-powered skills bank, not a bad initiative. Now the Daily Graphic: Minerals Commission opens new office at Bibiani. We do very well with these ones. Yankonkwa. Voters register brouhaha. Table order demanded at IPAC. That's according to Codeo, and that's an interesting one. I'll leave you with that when I'm done. The Coalition of Domestic Election Observers says the petition for a forensic audit of the voters' register being demanded by the National Democratic Congress must be tabled at an inter-party advisory committee meeting for the input of other parties and stakeholders on the matter. Governance expert Professor Bafo Ajimandua has also called for a dialogue to resolve the issues that led to last Tuesday's regional-based simultaneous street protest by the main opposition party, suggesting that a third-party audit could be explored, while a political scientist, Dr. Samuel Kofi Darkwa, said the NDC's concerns were valid and that a forensic audit would ensure the reliability of the register. Different strokes for different folks, different takes on the matter. The last thing I'll look at, page 13. So, high medication cost makes cancer death sentence. That's according to Dr. Kome. And the cost of cancer medication and treatment is out of the reach of many patients in the country, leading to the condition becoming a death sentence. The acting programs manager of non-communicable diseases, that is NCDs, of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Mary Efuakome, who made this known, said the high cost of medication had made it impossible for many people with cancer to gain access to quality health care. And some of the childhood cancers, thankfully, have now been added on the NHIA. I don't know the full extent of that, but trust me, some of these, if you get them in Ghana today, in fact, Dr. Kome said the average cost of treatment for colorectal and multiple myeloma cancers were around $5,200 and $33,000 respectively. How you will get that money in today's Ghana, only God knows.
So,
only God
those are the
knows.
chronic situations John Dramani Mahama has outlined that a dedicated fund will be made available, including dialysis and all these kind of cancers that are very expensive. The state must support. That will be the only solution. Yeah.
The state should support. That will be the only solution.
Yes, because individuals normally...
How will the state support? You add it onto the NHIS?
No.
What do you do?
John Dramani Mahama is suggesting a special fund to support people with chronic diseases. Chronic diseases may include these cancers. Normally, those who are rich, you will not hear of them. But only the poor that will be battling with such sicknesses, and when you go to Kolebu, you see them around. The rich will go to other countries and get themselves treated.
That we all know. How will this fund be funded?
There are a lot of money in this country. It's misuse that has created a lot of challenge for us.
Oh, so you've also started the Yetisikaso activity?
No, but you look at the money.
But when we come, all of
look
us
at the money that
look
at the money that we have wasted as a country. We talk about this cathedral. We talk about Kwalugu Dam. We talk about SkyTrain. Monies, Sputnik V. All these monies that are going waste. We can protect our resources if we have a leader that is committed to do so.
Okay.
So
the last one on page 17 will deliver credible voters register. EC assures stakeholders. I'll not get into the story. I think we know what they would say. But there's this quote here on that page by former President Jerry John Rawlings. He says, "An election is an event, but building a democratic, free, and peaceful society is a process. So the debate surrounding the new voters register must be thoroughly examined so we do not undermine the successes we have chalked up so far as a nation." And this is something he said in the past. I'm done with my newspaper.
I want to give us an update on this CAF stadium ban. On the back page of the Daily Guide, it says Nana sacks NSA chief over CAF stadium ban. So the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, has asked Doji Numekavo, Director General of the National Sports Authority, effective immediately. And the president's decision comes in the wake of the Confederation of African Football. We all know the story. And what I found interesting is that they say indications that the dismissal is reportedly linked to the stadium being rented out for a church event before Ghana's AFCON 2025 qualifier against Angola a few weeks ago, which is what revealed...
That is not true.
Please hold for me. Now, the president expressed dissatisfaction with the management of sports facilities. The question on my mind is, FIFA says we receive over $260,000 for pitch maintenance, grass pitch maintenance in this country. And we are sacking this man because what? He rented out the stadium for church activity. Hold on, I'll get to you in a bit. Dr. Pogwe Boachidankwa, how do you reconcile what we are reading this morning? The sack of this Doji Numekavo, the monies we receive for pitch maintenance, the reports from CAF over why pitch, the biggest we have, is not fit for purpose.
Sweetie, do you think it is fair for our pitches to be used for activities, especially where we play football. All around the world, what I know is that if people want to use stadiums for such events, you build a platform to cover the entire stadium.
I was just about to ask you whether you ever watched the Super Bowl.
Yes, you build a big platform to cover it all up. And so why are we doing that to ourselves? Why are we renting?
You're saying that
wait,
the state
wait,
of the stadium is because of the church activity.
Absolutely.
And I was about to ask you,
it was rented to a church. I can mention the name.
Do you think it is just, yes, we can talk about the Shatta, Stonebwoy events.
Yeah.
And the Deeper Life.
And then churches
Church,
and
yes.
all of that. But that is all part of governance, right? You can't tell me that the NSA boss is detached from the system and that what he does, the GFA doesn't know,
Yeah.
the sports ministry, the National Sports Authority, like there's no synchronization. You also cannot tell me that it is just because these entities have done this there, which has led to the deplorable state of our pitches. You know that, right? It can't be. It simply can't be. So what has happened, where for the first time in my memory, anyone correct me, we have the ignominy, shame, that we cannot play matches, qualifiers in Ghana. We have to go to Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire. Tell me, in your lifetime, when have you ever heard that happen?
This is my first time. I haven't heard that before, which is why the president is taking action. Very much so. Because why would you rent our pitches out to a church or to other activities for them to destroy the pitches?
My problem is not that the NSA boss has been sacked. In fact, probably all of those in the chain. It's just that he can't touch the GFA boss because you know the FIFA rules and all of that. Probably all of them in the chain should have gone. There's a national embarrassment. But this has long been coming. Go back, roll back years. This has long been coming. It's not a matter of just the NSA boss. That's all I'm trying to say. As for his sacking, the president has done that and he probably deserves it. But the items in the line and the heads that are not rolling, you can't just blame the NSA boss alone. But anyway. Well, gentlemen, we're grateful for your time.
So we hang one man and the problem persists.
It's unfortunate. But you know, the issue is that if Accra Sports Stadium is rented, is Kumasi also rented? Is Cape Coast also rented? Why that all these stadia, we cannot use it? Do you understand? The question is that somebody has taken a contract to renovate our stadiums and all the stadia or the parks that we've been playing football. So how is it that the stadium is still where it is now that we have to go to Cote d'Ivoire?
That's ask that question. Ask Nanado
to sack the family member who has taken that contract.
Mr.
Ask him to sack that family member.
Thank you so much.
I don't want to mention
folks, thank you so much for staying with us for the news review segment. We have Dr. Paul Gribwachidankwa, and he speaks for the government on governance and security. We also have Mr. Bismarck Abobiaite, the NDC Ayawaso West Wogon constituency chairman. And they join Ben and I to review the newspapers. They can stay because sports is coming up next.